selaku pengacara majlis pada pagi ini mengalu-alukan kehadiran yang berbahagia Datuk Seri, Datuk-Datuk, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, dan mengucapkan selamat datang ke International Postgraduate Geosymposium 2024. Hadirin yang dihormati, seminar International Postgraduate Geosymposium 2024 yang dianjurkan oleh Jabatan Geografi, Fakulti Sastra dan Sains Sosial Universiti Melayu adalah bertujuan untuk meneroka teori, pendekatan, isu praktikal dan aplikasi yang berpotensi yang berkaitan dengan geografi dan pembangunan manfaat sambil memupuk komunikasi di kalangan pakar dan dari berbagai bidang.
Jadi sebenarnya saya baru kembali daripada Bandung semalam. Jadi dan minggu lalu masih di Jakarta. Jadi hari ini berjumpa kawan daripada Padang. Jadi this is interesting, satu pengalaman yang sangat menarik pada saya. Jadi bila bercakap pun sudah tukar ya bahasanya daripada bisa, kapan dan sebagainya. Jadi pada saya hari ini adalah satu perjumpaan. Today is a very important meeting when we develop any program in terms of academic program. One of the major components that we should pay attention to would be postgraduate students. And I think today is a very important meeting. This symposium brought the geographers from both sides, from Padang, Universitas Negeri Padang, and also from University Malaya, that we can come together to share our research findings and also to share
and conveying the welcoming remarks from the Dean of this faculty, Professor Dr. Danny Wong Zikian, who is not able to be with us today due to some assignment that he has to be outside of the campus for another assignment, and also from the other top management of the faculty. That they would like to be with us, but unfortunately they have some other matters to do. So they would love me to send their regards to all of you and welcome all of you to the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Okay. Before I go on, let me also express my greatest gratitude to the organizing committee of this symposium. They have been working very, very hard. They have been working tirelessly, giving all the commitment that they can and work out of what is expected out of them. Yeah? Spend the time, the effort, the money, and all those that they can to realizing this international symposium to what we are having now. My greatest thanks would go to Professor Dr. Satya as the co-chairman.
Dia sudah sembunyi kat belakang.
Dah menyuruh.
Kita tengah diskusi dengan mahasiswa tadi kan dua saja.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yang sangat kita hormati Bu Adeli, Head Jurusan Epistemic Fakulti of Art and Social Science Universiti Malaya, Bu Satya. Itu dua orang ini bersertifikat pada Pak Bu Adeli sama Bu Satya, International Lecturer di Universiti Padang. Kemudian Pak Sapriwan, Bapak, Ibu, Al-Umid yang sangat kami muliakan. Kami tersanjung bangga dengan peluang yang diberikan untuk ikut dalam aktivitas International Postgraduate Geosymposium 2024 di universitas yang kami banggakan di Indonesia, peringkat 65 dunia. Weekend Degree Research, Geography Department, Faculty of Social Science, Malaya University, in improving or academic quality. Magister Program Geografi Universitas. Thank you, luar biasa. Moga-moga Bu Adeline tidak pensiun, tetap bersama. Tapi kalau mendekati mau pensiun, Bu Adeline harus mencari kader baru untuk kami hebat. Jadi ada estafet Pak. Ada Bu Sophia, Bu Sophia dan Bu Adeline. Bu Adeline kemarin sudah merekomendasikan satu nama, tapi besok kami akan mengangkat resmi. Jadi biodatanya sudah ada sama kami. Jadi nanti ada, kalau kami insya Allah mau buka S3, jadi yang berkepada Bu Miss Fariza ya, direkomendasikan oleh Bu Adeline. Nanti Ibu juga sebagai dosen kita di Universitas Padang. Apalagi Bu? Nggak ada lagi kan? Sudah cukup kan? Pantun.
2, 3.
Melihat orang terjun payung, jatuh ke tengah awan. Alhamdulillah kita datang berkunjung ke negeri para raja. Itu saja. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Saya videoin.
Di antara bapak tiga, boleh
The epistemology and axiology. So each other can be divided, and we have to study that's conclusive, yeah. So we cannot separate each other. Why? Because three branches of philosophy, yeah, we start from what we know about things in the world, yeah, and then about epistemology, what is the practice, the method, and then axiology about what for, yeah, we know something. So, epistemology especially, since this morning, a student and lecturer say about epistemology. Yeah. Jadi about why we know about the knowledge, why we believe about the knowledge. Jadi di dalam kegiatan ilmiah itu, we often debate one to another, sering bertanya, sering berdebat tentang sesuatu. Ya, karena sebetulnya kita ragu dengan apa yang kita sampaikan, gitu ya. Jadi kegiatan dari apa yang sudah kita lakukan dari pagi, menyajikan hasil research, apakah itu dalam bentuk materi geografi fisik maupun human geografi atau sosial geografi. Sebetulnya kita berbicara tentang tiga ranah, ya, tiga cabang filsafat. Kita berbicara tentang aspek ontologi, aspek epistemologi, dan aspek aksiologi. Gitu. Tadi setelahnya tadi itu sudah dibentangkan. Saya appreciate karena semuanya tidak ada yang salah secara
kopi bang, berbagi tak ada damai.
Berdiri damai. Awak tak? Berdiri damai.
Sini, apa orang ceria?
Faculty of Art and Social Science. Today I will discuss one of my papers, conceptualizing the influence of urbanization on the ecological environment in research. It's not only the work of myself, Dr. Marini, Dr. Nish, and Dr. Kenju also supervise this, as well as my colleagues. So with that, let's start. First, I will introduce the context of my research. I will then discuss the key themes from recent literatures where I identify my research gap and my study aims to address. Following that, I will walk you through the methodology part that I used to achieve my research aim and present the main findings. I will also share a conceptual framework with you that I emerged from the main findings. Finally, I will conclude the insights and highlight the limitations for future studies. So let's start with some.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone.
the honorable participants. Before we begin our presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Rahadatul Aisi, a master student in Geography Education at the Faculty of Social Science, Padang State University. I'm going to share about the title Hazard Level and the Small Marapi Code Level Disaster based on Geographic Information System, or GIS, in Tanah Datar Regency, West Sumatra, Indonesia. Okay, alright, I will begin by sharing the first slide overview of Tanah Datar Regency. Geography. Tanah Datar Regency is located in the heart of West Sumatra, Indonesia. Known for its stunning landscape, the region is characterized by barren hills, serene lakes, and majestic hierarchy. The topography plays a strong role in shaping both natural beauty and the potential hazard level based by local community. Second, natural feature. The area boasts diverse natural attraction, including pristine waterfall cascading down lusty slides and tranquil lakes nestled among the highlands. This feature not only contribute to the region aesthetic effect but also influence local hydrology and potential bloom pattern. Third, cultural significance. Tanah Datar is rich in historical heritage, with numerous sites of cultural importance scattered throughout the regency. These historical landmarks, combined with the natural beauty, make the area unique blend of cultural and environmental significance, highlighting the importance of cooperative disaster risk. It is meant to protect both the population heritage sites. Next slide, Small Marapi and active star volcano. The first geographic location, Mount Marapi is strategically situated between the Agam and Tanah Datar regions in West Sumatra, Indonesia. The central of both locations mainly dominant feature of the landscape and a significant factor in regional geothermal stationary. Second, volcanic characteristic is external volcano Marapi structure is composed of alternating layer, the hardened lava tepra, and volcanic ice. The composition contribute its slate, causing a step on influence the behavior of pathogen good lava flows or the unified slope. Next slide, understanding good lava flow. The first definition, good lava flow is known as lahar, a flow of volcanic material mixed with water. Unlike hot lava flow, this occur at ambient temperature and can travel long distance from just south facing, significant risk to downstream community. In cases, the primary trigger for hot lava flow include high rainfall, seismic activity, and the presence of lost volcanic material of mountain floor. In the case of Marapi, the combination of frequent eruption in Indonesia's tropical climate creates ideal condition for this hazard flow. Sure, the consequences of lava flows are ranging affecting infrastructure, agriculture, human safety, and local economy. The can be building bridges and roads, destroy farmland, and pose hazardous of human life. The economic destruction caused by this event has long-lasting effects on affected community. 4. Risk assessment. Evaluating the risk of good lava flow involving releasing various factors such as topography, rainfall patterns, volcanic activity, and human settlement pattern. This plays a crucial role in creating this diverse state to create comprehensive assessment and model. Next slide, chronology of the Mount Marapi disaster. The first 3 December 2023 eruption. Mount Marapi experienced a significant eruption agency lava, volcanic material of its lava. This event is taken for potential good lava flow by depositing loss of volcanic debris on the mountain sides. Through the vertebrate accumulation in the months following tiny eruption, the deposited volcanic material remained on the slope of Mount Marapi. Third, 11 May 2024, good lava flow and 4 aftermath impact assessments. This is documenting the good lava flow in Tanah Datar Regency, destructive force, aftermath analysis, and community impact. This is a video of Mount Marapi good lava flow disaster in Tanah Datar Regency. Next slide, could Lahar Flood Hazarmap in creating Hazarmap for Kod Lapa Flood. River buffer data is named. His river buffer is calculated because Kod Lapa Flood disaster will occur in the river basin area or NPA that are the result of the analysis. The hazard level 3 are three classification: green, the lowest hazard level; yellow, the moderate hazard level; and red, the highest hazard level. Kod Lahar Flood Threat Map. The hazard map for Kod Lapa Flood is combined from the analysis of slope data, soil type data, rainfall data, and land cover data. This data area then overlaid and secure according to classification. Kod Lahar Flood Vulnerability Map. The vulnerability map is analysis based on two test variables, namely physical vulnerability data and social vulnerability data. The final goal is calculated using an equation. Based on the Kod Lahar vulnerability map in Tanah Datar Regency, there are three classifications: the sub-district with class level area Bangkau, Sapulwoto, and Sungai Tarak sub-district. The sub-district with a moderate level vulnerability is Bantipua sub-district. With a low level vulnerability are Tanjung Baru, Pariaman, and Salim Pawang district. Next slide, Kod Lahar Flood Capacity Map. The Kod Lahar Flood Capacity Map uses 5 parameters that are included in practicing disaster risk education program within the Hydro Framework for Action or HFA. Next slide, Kod Lahar Flood Risk Map. The disaster risk is breakdown by multiplying threats by vulnerability and dividing by capacity. The threat map is overlaid with the vulnerability map resulting in a threat vulnerability map. The threat vulnerability map is overlaid with the capacity map that produce disaster risk. Based on the Kod Lahar Flood Risk Map in Tanah Datar Regency, the low disaster risk area in Pariaman, Limakau, Sungai Tarak, Salim Pawang, and Tanjung Baru district. Moderate disaster risk area are found in almost all sub-districts in Tanah Datar Regency. District that have risk areas Pulau Batipu, and Pariaman district. Okay, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Ms. Farhadatul Aid, for your presentations. Moving on, we would like to welcome Ms. Alina Aslam.
And it is also crucial source of water for urban, suburban, and rural communities along its course. Okay, so the river is a diverse landscape. Okay, which is also consuming a lot of urban areas along the river and suburban, which is currently developing zone. And then we have a traditional rural region which offers a unique setting for the study as well. Okay, so the context and relevance, okay, the water management is actually a crucial issue in Malaysia as well. Okay, even though Malaysia is one of the countries which has a lot of good water resources, but it is also crucial when we talk about
is named from my village, that's a Kenegrian Rubio. Next one is river land clearing. This land clearing also causes riverbed to collapse and become shallow. This following is caused by the influence of river water flow and water from land to river, which erodes and surrounding soil until they wash away into the river. And next one, preparation effort to reduce the threat of riverbank erosion is and local wisdom. From community, but it's also from the government and Regency. Another effort is to impose sanction on failure of the rules. However, because there are still not written rules, it's challenging to evert customary law against culture who come from outside the Kenegrian Rubio eras. Okay, my page
finishes all my presentation that's today. Maybe you have a question, but please, if you can speak Malaysia, you can use the Malaysia because my English is a very poor. And then because I just want to tell about my Kampar Gansi, it's my village. And this day I use the Batik Kampar. This is a Batik Kampar. If you have a time, I just wanna sing. Yeah. Okay, just a little from the Kampar. Kamano tahan jaga kiranku, oke ilani tentang kajago budayanya, kampungan yang rindukan dimanapun, balado ndak kampuna tahu kota. This is singing from my village because
it's about Kampar, and then Tanah Datar is a district from Indonesia. And then my presentation is about Alabat and Indonesia. And the line is Indonesia. For the title is Disaster Mitigation based on review articles in Sustainable Development Models in Indonesia. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is for Indonesia. I have 3 points for highlight. Disaster in Indonesia for period 2023. We can look for the graphics. The highlight for disaster in Indonesia, the first one is about floods, and then land fires, and 3 is about extreme weather. Nah, Indonesia faces a unique challenge in disaster mitigation due to its geographic location and diverse landscape. This presentation explores how sustainable developments and models can achieve disaster and then resilience across the archipelago. You know, Indonesia is a big island, have a big island in Indonesia. And then Indonesia is a more land bank, maybe land from Asia, land bank Pacific, Eurasia, and Indo-Australia. Okay, next slide. The importance of disaster mitigation in Indonesia, because the background and then the problem in Indonesia, we have 3 why important disaster mitigation in Indonesia. Is one, geological vulnerability. You know the structure about Indonesia. Indonesia for the, we can say highlight Indonesia is about geological sesar semangko. Sesar semangko is the highlight for geological in Indonesia. And then climate related risk. This is climate. The country faces frequent and then landslide and drought due to the tropical climate in topography. And then the 3 economic impact. Economic impact is the more impact for Indonesia to disaster mitigation in Indonesia. And next, overview of sustainable development models in Indonesia. If we have a mitigation, can relate for sustainable development models in Indonesia. The number 1, to environment protection. How to protect for environment in Indonesia, and 2, economic growth. How for growth Indonesia economic and impact to sustainable development in Indonesia. And then in 3, social equality. Next.
After Sustainable Development Indonesia, we can conclusion for key elements in disaster mitigation in sustainable development models. The number one is about risk assessment. For the risk assessment, we can now for disaster mitigation sustainable. But the problem in Indonesia, we can look for the assessment, for the risk assessment. Maybe little, until now, little for information about disaster. For population Indonesia can merata, banyaknya penduduk Indonesia dan kekurangan dalam informasi untuk bencana alam. And then infrastructure resilience, bagaimana ketahanan dari Indonesia sendiri dalam menghadapi sebuah bencana. And then the three ecosystem-based approaches. Ecosystem can be related to mitigation in sustainable development because mangrove, example for mangrove restoration and forest conservation, acts natural buffers against climate and hazard. This is for case studies from the review articles, case studies in disaster Indonesia. We can look the table for disaster for flood disaster in Indonesia. Categories for flood disaster in Indonesia is the height based on the region and then environment. Maybe near the river can classification height, and the river and the beach and island. Now this is for the classification is a height. For the countries in Indonesia, I have a case study. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 case study for Indonesia. The first is Padang Pariaman. I have a Padang Pariaman case study, problems in the city development. Because the Padang Pariaman, based on the classification, termasuk wilayah budidaya, not for the city development. So this is more impact until now for the development in Padang Pariaman. And then two case is about Malang City and Semarang City. And for the disaster is a flood disaster. Because Malang City and Semarang City have a compact for building. And then have more rubbish for the countries. And the three case studies is same for flood management in the Jakarta. You know Jakarta is same for Kuala Lumpur. Jakarta is a big mother country. Yeah, I know mother country, but not mother country, right? Okay. And then Gorontalo flood disaster. It's the same case. It's about flood disaster. Gorontalo have a soil can impact for flood disaster. Okay, these 5 case studies for disaster in Indonesia. Maybe you can have a question for other disaster in Indonesia. Can say to me. Okay, next. And then challenges and barriers to effective disaster mitigation. Challenges for effective disaster mitigation. Number 1 is limit resource. We can now limit resource and maybe need to limit for resources for mitigation. But I as geography, maybe I can mapping for the disaster, for the mitigation. And then number 2, rapid urbanization. Urbanization is a more impact for effective disaster mitigation, and especially for Indonesia. And then number 3 is coordination issues. Coordination between region and region for the mitigation disaster. And next, okay, integrating disaster mitigation into urban planning and infrastructure development. Number 1, risks involve land use planning. To integrate for disaster and mitigation to urban planning, we can look planner for urban. And then number 2 is about resilience, ketahanan masyarakat for urban planning. So urban can have resilience is a big more important for planning development to urban. And 3, green urban space for the country and urban. Not also can building movies or other mall. Maybe can more build for green urban space. Then next slide. Role of community engagement and local knowledge in disaster mitigation. Community have more impact to local knowledge in disaster. We can find community from university and maybe government, and then maybe we can have a community is about geography to disaster. And then next slide. This is the innovation for emerging technologies for disaster mitigation in Indonesia right now. We can buy drone technology, and then geography information system. Same as my friends telling is about Takadata. We can mapping for geography information system. This is my map. Is about flood hazard disaster in Indonesia. And then maybe for mobile apps for BMKG and in Indonesia is about weather. We can find is weather right now, and then the other day. And then next slide. This is the last. Okay. Maybe this is for the last my presentation. I say thank you for your attention, and before sayonara, sampai berjumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih.